This will sort of be a video about how you can line up crossovers so that they phase better, but it'll be more of a deep dive into the pros and cons of each version. Let's just turn on a channel, shall we? So here we have a bandpass for, I've got an 8-inch woofer in mind, and as you can see, the phase has little curves in it, and if you could see a bit further, it curves that way a bit. And then we'll stick on the next driver in the crossover network. It's a bit quieter here, don't worry about that. Just say we're going to try and cross it 600 Hertz. As you can see, the phase is not quite the same in this area. I'm just going to zoom in. Right, so zoomed in at 600. They're approximately under 60 degrees of phase out. So they're going to be slightly cancelling each other. One bunch of waveforms will be slightly ahead of the other, and the result will not be perfect. Some it'll be a bit less. Now I went ahead and pre-calculated an amount of delay I could add to my 8-inch woofer to make the crossover region line up a bit better, right bang on 600. And then, as you can see, I only added 0.26 of a millisecond to get this crossover region rocking. And these are just 24 dB slopes, common low pass and high pass. Now, as you can see, if we just look at the 6 dB before and after the crossover point, this is roughly here at 500 and a bit further up here at 550. It's roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They normally say 6 dB of a drop in the crossovers is good to assess the next crossover's influence on the other crossovers. 6 speed different. We're looking at 148 degrees on that one and 154 degrees. So less than, what did I say, 15, 16 degrees, something like that. About 16, 15 degrees going out of phase, which is bugger all, 6 dB down on either side of the crossover. So we're done. Standard crossovers can be good. Now you can actually add something that's known as an all-pass filter, and you can wiggle around with the settings. And here I've got phase going off the screen. I'm just going to scroll up a bit, and you can get them as close as you like. They do tend to wobble around a bit with this plugin. So here, they're basically not 1 degree out before the 6 dB drop on either side, and you can fiddle with that a little bit. You can actually add a bit more delay, that's a lot. That's too much. So you can mess around with all sorts of things. Let's say 0.2. Yeah, 0.1, 0.05. Yeah, it's even 0.05 was too much. 0.02. So you can play with delay, you can play with your all passes and basically get them 1 degree in locked for the whole crossover region. So that's all passes. So crossover 24 dB slopes and all pass filters, rock solid. Now the question becomes, what if the speakers themselves, after receiving the electrical signal, are changing the phase? And when we stick a microphone on a speaker and measure its phase, we get all sorts of stuff happening. I just have to change this number. This next part, 1, 2, 3, 7. Right. This plugin adds a lot more delay. 1, 3, 7. 0.7. Right, so I've recorded the impulse response of both these speakers and put them in line, and you can do that with an impulse file player, impulse response player, using convolution, and that's just loaded up the waveform of the impulse response and added them to both speakers, and that's why we had to add 137 more mil of delay. That's just the way plugins work. And then, as you can see, you don't get this perfect crossover, but you do get kind of a more natural summation. Have I got any of my delays left on? Yeah, so not natural. So just bang, straight out of the box, plug in your 24 dB crossovers, using your speakers phase information. You're getting close. I think that's something like 10 or 15 degrees, could be 20. Let's have a look. 135, 122. So 125. Won't say, yeah, 10 or so degrees, just out of the box. Two different speakers, 3-inch and an 8-inch. One's a dome, one's a cone, all that sort of stuff. Same distance. As you can see, somehow the stars aligned in these two speakers do fall within 10 degrees of each other, and that's pretty good. I'd say that was almost a win. But you know, we can make that better with delay. Add a bit of delay. They cross at the crossover point, and we're looking probably less than 5 degrees by 6 dB down. Let's verify that. 109 degrees, 116 degrees. Yeah, so 7 degrees of phase, 6 dB down. So that's pretty good. Now the ultimatum comes. The ultimate version is an all pass with, let's see if I've got this right, straight out of the box. An all pass, there you go, added to the impulse response calculated version of the crossover. So what do we got? We've got a 24 dB filter. Yeah, that's what these look like. We have an all pass, and in this case I just all pass one speaker. It's a 2nd degree all pass filter at 0.194Q, 15 Hertz, and it gets that, and I think I put 0.1 millisecond of delay. So perfect crossover. So we got a perfect crossover if we consider the IRs and the real measured speaker information, if we think it's real, and the theoretical all passed crossovers, which look just like this as well, not considering the impulse responses. And what I devised, and the reason why I showed you these delay compensated ones without the all passes, is no matter which you believe, point of the video coming up, drum roll please, if you believe adding the impulse response is important and you're wrong, you'll only be out by 5, what did I say, 8, 9 degrees, something in the 10, 10 or below. And if you don't believe impulse responses are correct because of all the near field phase reversal in the air, while it's velocity and it's not pressure waves into the far field and that sort of crap, which I didn't really get into in this video. So if you don't believe measuring is going to help, you'll still only be maximally wrong 10 degrees. You know what I'm saying? So you're right either way. All pass is good. It gets you from 30 degrees out to somewhere between 0 and 10 degrees out. And that's it. That's the end of the story. And maybe in the description I'll put that whole spiel about the near field, far field polarity flip. And the reason that I made this video was just to finish this whole series, and we won't have to hear from me again about this topic. Alright, have a nice one.